Здравейте хора! Днешният епизод на Creative Compass подкаст е спонсориран от DevHub One. Понеже на гости ни е Adrien Bacchi, днешният епизод ще е изцяло на английски. So, hello Adrien, thank you for coming.
Salut.
For our audience, present yourself with a couple of words.
So I'm Adrien Bacchi. I'm a French-Italian entrepreneur. From Italian origins, to be really precise. I'm born in Paris. I'm 44. Been living in Sofia 17 years. Been living outside of France 20 years. I lived 3 years in Belgium. I had a classic business school, master degree and all parcours until I started my company nearly 20 years ago. So really the beginning was 2006.
That is a long time.
Yeah, but I started young, so I think it's not so long in the end. I had a lot of time to make mistakes. In the beginning, really the first business that worked was an email marketing company, Supernova Mail. It was really a good profit for the time, but it was just the beginning of us learning and investing and creating stuff. We made quite enough of money to invest everything into webcomics platform, and we got crazy with this platform Amilova in 2010 that we created in Bulgaria. I wrote 3 books, I published them. There was this idea of having things as physical, digital, and video game, really this transmedia cross-platform idea. The idea was amazing in 2010, but we didn't have all the expertise and the financing to make it happen. So we stopped in 2012. Then we had other businesses. We failed the other businesses. And until we managed to have our first game. So 2015, 2016, 10 years ago was really bad for us. We were at the bottom, bankrupt. And physically, I was really super stressed and bad. But we managed to find the energy and the resources to change everything. And in 2016 was the beginning where we had an MVP for a game, we had a publisher, we released it with the publisher, and boom, it worked. When I had 0 expectations actually to make it work.
How your spark came for Chibi Phoenix? How you created Chibi Phoenix?
Well, first of all, it was survival, because we had this moment where I had 160,000 euros of debt in 2016, which is quite a lot when you have a kid, and it was do or die. So that was the thing. And before making it work, we had tried many other businesses. So that one worked, but we tried this, many things. And at the time, we had 2 companies. So there was this moment, like 6 years, where we had nothing. Amilova, we tried, failed. And there was another platform, Ranking Hero, we tried, failed. There is this moment where we had plan A, that was Chibi Phoenix, and plan B, that was Trixier. What you can reverse the plan A and B. And they worked at the same time. July 26, we released our first game with Chibi Phoenix, and it was a success. 2 weeks after, we signed for Trixier for making serious games. So we had 2 studios at the same time. And we sold the serious game studio to a French company, a big consultancy firm called 1 Point. We sold it in 2019. And that's the moment we were like, okay, we have never built the brand of what we do. And we built Chibi Phoenix as a brand.
So the name Chibi Phoenix suggests small and cute characters, but also rebirth and resilience. What's the story behind the name?
So first, the Phoenix. The Phoenix story is that we started with our first company in Belgium, and the name of the first company was Supernova Media. And when we arrived in Bulgaria, we decided, okay, the Supernova has exploded, it's done, and we are reborn as the Phoenix, which led to the creation of Phoenix Media OOD in 2008. But we never really named it. At the time, maybe we were a bit paranoid, but our friends we had friends here that took us to Bulgaria and said it's amazing, come and all. They also told us, you're a foreigner, be careful, don't attract too much attention. So we're like, okay, let's not do too much marketing. We started doing the marketing with Chibi Phoenix in 2019 when we realized that things had changed and it was the time to really go public. And the Chibi part is the completion of many things that are part of our DNA. First of all, I mean, we love anime. We love manga and anime deeply. I'm 44. I think I started watching them 40 years ago. So it's a long story. And I still watch a lot. So that's, and my partners and the team, they also love it. So we were like, okay, we want something that is part of that culture integrated in the Phoenix. Also, I thought that a lot of people told me, but why don't you call yourself a Mega Phoenix or a Crazy Phoenix or something very gaming? I was like, this is cringe. Everybody wants to be a mega big Phoenix or a super perfect Phoenix or something. But it's better to be like cute, humble Phoenix. You can still pretend to be cute and backstab the people and poison them when they don't pay attention. But I thought it was cool. We were also trying to find what were the names that were available in .com. So we wanted chibiphoenix.com. And turns out that a lot of whatever with Phoenix is taken because there's like Pizza Phoenix or Media Phoenix is taken because of the city Phoenix in Arizona. So everything Phoenix is taken because of the city.
Okay, so you're a founder of Chibi Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
And as we know, every founder has many challenges and struggles. What were your biggest struggles?
Like now?
The whole way.
Okay, that's a 20-hour interview. And
Say a couple.
I would say that the main thing that you have a few things. I would say the really biggest challenges is about managing the very up and the very down. Because in the middle, you do your job. Okay, you hire people, you train them, you promote them, you fire the bad people, you find good ideas, you ship your products, you find clients. That's the middle. The worst is at the extremes, because when you're out of business and you make no money, you're at the bottom. You accumulate debts, anxiety, depression. You face your demons. Am I going to make it? Am I going to find a client? Am I going to find a solution? Is there something I can do? Am I capable? And every day you need still to wake up and go fight all these things, even though you make no money and you accumulate debt. And you have all your family that will probably tell you, stop this stupid thing of being an entrepreneur, go in a bank, become a postman, and become a solid person. You don't get a lot of support when you're super down. So that's super challenging. How do you find the energy and the resilience to fight no matter what? And then you have the super up. The super up is also a very bad place, because when you're super up, you will have this tendency of thinking, I'm very successful because I'm awesome, I'm a genius, I'm so smart, and everything I will try magically is going to become gold because I'm such a genius. That's also a very bad place, because your ego is just taking the lead and you take a lot of stupid decisions. And I've experienced both, and both have problems. Okay, when you have problems without money, the good thing is that you calculate everything you do and you're very serious. You're back against the wall and you find better solution. When you are at the super up, you have a lot of money and you might waste it, but you have more chances also to rebound. It's just you're missing opportunities. These are the biggest things. And the big thing is that you learn a lot from failure and from hard times. You learn a lot. Super educational. It's painful and unpleasant, but you learn a lot from this stuff. And you don't learn a lot from success. Success is a very bad teacher.
Because you think you're on top, but
Exactly. You're like
you can fail anytime.
I'm successful because I'm a genius, right? What do you learn from it? Nothing.
Yeah, but the next day you can fail dramatically
Mm-hmm.
and be on the bottom.
Hopefully not, but I think you really need to have this discipline to move forward. Success in the top times or in the lowest times, you need to have this discipline to really be like, okay, now I understand that success is something that is a mixture of luck and temporality, or also super failure might be a mixture of that. So how do I execute my plan no matter what?
Okay, if you have to say, or yeah, if you have to say anything about your colleagues, how you will describe them? And who is your first colleague ever?
My colleagues. It's complicated. As a CEO, I have a team that they're not exactly colleagues. Um, there's always a link of a link of hierarchy. I made the mistake to think that people can be my friends in my team, and it's just not possible. It's a mistake. It's position mistake. There will always be a difference between people in my team and me. That doesn't mean that I don't like them outside of the work, but we have different positions and different roles. And if I realize that if I mistake myself as being the friend of people, people are not appreciating this because I'm not playing my role as a CEO and as a founder. So I have a role. I have to protect them. I have to guide them. And this leadership needs to have this framing of position. We are all friends, everything's the same, does not work. So the first partner, more than the colleague, is my friend and co-founder, Alexandre. And he has been my friend for 28 years. 28 years. So we met, we were 16. And when we've been together most of the years since then. And for the past 20 years in entrepreneurship, we have been together. So it's a beautiful story with lots of ups and downs also, but not in our relationship. We have been living this together.
How you decided that Chibi Phoenix will be concentrate in manga and anime things?
First of all, it's natural because it comes from our passion, and also because there's not a lot of companies like us outside of Asia that are capable of understanding the tropes and the mechanics of anime and manga. And we found our niche like that because all of a sudden we were talking to communities with exactly the right language, with exactly the right games and the right content, when most of the other companies are missing it. And you see that sometimes you have some productions that are, I mean, Netflix has become huge on anime and they fight against Crunchyroll, but anime has been really booming in part thanks to Netflix that has been producing, adding a lot of titles to their catalog. I don't remember the numbers, but the growth of anime outside of Japan is huge. Japan is more or less stable, but outside, boom. But what they did is that most of it is still Asian productions and Japanese production because they just do it. They know what they're doing. And we had a trend in the 80s in France to produce our own anime. It was not so good. Some of them we were in partnership with Japan. They were like joint ventures, 51% here or 51% there. But most of them have been dramatic in quality. So we found our place like that in our understanding and capacity to really get it. I think we get it. I hope.
Okay, but how you decide which is a good idea and which is a not so good idea?
You try. In general, you try. The thing is that we've tried hundreds of stuff. I think really. Uh, you need to start with an expertise. You need to find ways of talking with communities and receiving feedback however you can. But there's always a moment that you're going to try. And I mean, if you see a game that is amazing and you're like, oh, I want to make exactly this game, you're not going to innovate much. You see Genshin Impact, and you're like, oh, I want to copy Genshin Impact. Well, good luck, first of all. And even if you copy it, you're not going to make anything that will have an impact because it's not differentiated. It's not bringing something in worthwhile. So you will have to take risks. You need to start first from an expertise. You know what you're talking about. Then you expose yourself. You're out of your bubble and all, because yeah, if you're an expert, but then everyone in your team is an expert, you get to an idea and everybody's like, oh, I love this idea. It's such a good idea. It's amazing. Yes, I love what you do. Oh, I love what you do. Oh, we love what we do. And then you get to something very sterile, and chances that it will suck. It will suck, maybe. And when you expose it to players, you propose them. We had this case a few weeks ago. We are working on a new title with the team, and we had 3 IDs. We exposed it to the community. They want the team loved ID2. They were like, ah, this is so much ID2, and players all voted for ID3. So like, okay, good that we asked.
So, can you take us through the initial creative process of your company?
It's a bit vague as a question. What do you mean creative process? For what?
When a new game idea came to you,
Like a new game idea?
Yeah.
Because we have a few live games, so it's also about game features. So it starts with different conversations inside the team. We try to have workshops and to regularly have ideas coming up. But now we've been with Chibi Phoenix for our first game is nearly 10 years old. So we've had many ideas on the table. The ideas are cheap. You can have plenty of ideas. Regularly, we are talking with players and making surveys. What are your ideas? What do you want? What are your pain points? We always try for the live games to solve the problems of players. What is it you don't like? What is it that you miss? And we try to understand what also they are not saying. And so that's always this thing of communicating very tightly with the players. If you want to create a new game, you have to come from observation of what's the market, what's missing, where can you make a difference, and then you have this process of different iterations internally, different ideas, feedbacking, showing it to players somehow, and then tuning it with different waves of feedback until you get something that is hopefully cool.
Okay, so you talk feedback. How important is your players' feedback to you?
It's critical. Now, it's important to know how to translate feedback into something actionable. Because a lot of people mistake that there are 25 players on Discord are gods, and whatever they say is gospel and they have to do it. And that's not how you do it. If you are just the slave of your 25 players on Discord, you're serving a voice, a noisy community, minority, that are hardcore players, are very dedicated. So you need to treat them in a certain way. You need to respect them, to involve them. But if you do what they want, I'm pretty sure you'll be doing a terrible game. Because most players don't want to be talking on Discord. Most players, they want to play and enjoy a game as it is. So this aspect of being very social and talking and being involved and all, that's a specific community. It's about 5-10% of your player base. So if you treat just these people and you think that they are always right, that's going to be tough. Also, so we make gacha games, okay? So there's always a part of frustration. You're not necessarily going to get the characters you want. There's competition. There's a lot of things that are creating frustration. And this is the frustration that is making people triggered in some way to maybe spend money. So you need to understand that some types of games are going to monetize because you're going to tease people, frustrate them, just uh, play with their experience. And no player is going to tell you, "Oh, please reduce the drop rate so I'm more frustrated and I give you more money." It's very rare that people tell you that.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think of monetization in games? Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I don't know. If the government gives me money to make games, maybe I'll make games with government money, but it has to come from somewhere.
So in a space saturated with major titles,
Yeah.
where does Chibi Phoenix focuses its innovation?
Our next big thing is to bring more humor to games. Games are not very fun. And the next titles we are working on, I hope we manage, because we started writing and we were like, oh, but making fun stuff is not easy. Yes, it's not easy. But I always loved the humor of Naked Gun, Austin Powers, or in manga, Gintama, all the comical aspects of Dragon Ball. And this is what we want to bring in the narrative aspect of our games. Want to go in this type of jokes and see how we can execute. Stories in gacha games or RPGs are generally cringe and basic, and adventures of a party of noob adventurers want to go to the forest to fight the Demon King, and they are level 1 and the Demon King is level 7. How are they going to do? Do a
So
bit better than that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So for the people that are watching us, can you tell them if they want to create a niche studio like Chibi Phoenix, what should they look for?
It depends who, it depends what. I mean, depends. First of all, go to school. First of all, go to school. I mean, regularly I meet kids, the kids of my friends or the friends of my son. My son is 11. They are all hyped. I mean, they are like, oh, I want to be a YouTube, Roblox, TikTok influencer and make my world. And okay, good. And then they are very curious about what it is to make games. And it's very important to really understand that more than ever, it's a job. It's a job that requires skills. You cannot make games if you're not skilled. If you don't go to school, you will not be skilled. You can be a bedroom coder that is learning everything by him or herself, fine. But I think I think you need to be realistic and really go to school, learn a lot. There's a lot to be learned, and game creation is such a complex endeavor that it's involving, yes, the creative part, but that's like 5% of the job. You have the creative part, you have you have all this thing about how do you transform your idea into something that actually becomes a game. So that's about hiring people, managing plannings, making sure that you have dev cycles and debugs, and finding the financing and finding the clients and finding the publishers, making the integration, the customer support, the marketing, the branding, all this stuff that is between your idea and the moment people play it and like it. And that's extremely important. It's a really a job. It's like making movies. You might make movies with your phone, but actually, if you go to a cinema school and you work in a cinema studio for 10 years, you might learn something. And I hope you will. So that's what I advise people that don't have a lot of experience in the gaming industry is first you go to school, then get a job. Get a job in a good studio. Don't do it necessarily for the money. Find a place where you know you're going to learn a lot because there are really good people and you can level up. Maybe you'll stay there forever if they know how to keep you, if you're talented. But that's where you need to start. And it's a job. And also be very realistic that you're not going to make games to be rich. wrong job. Also, more than ever, it's a job that is tough. It requires a lot of skills. It's not very well paid. And you'll make more hours for less money than if you're working for whatever SaaS, AI, crypto company. That's a choice. It's a reality, fair or unfair, whatever. It's just what it is. And yeah.
Yeah, because nowadays many young people go with the idea, I will make a game, it will be very successful and I will have a lot of money, but that's not reality.
No.
The reality is like you have 11 hours working day and you get almost nothing for a lot of work.
Yeah, it's the same thing that I'm going to become a TikTok influencer. I'm going to make a lot of money. You open your TikTok account, start publishing, nobody cares. Like, oh, but I wanted to make money. Yeah, but nobody cares. And you have a lot of success stories of bedroom coders, solo devs that just by themselves they made a great game and they become billionaires because Steam, whatever, some luck, wish list, hype. Sure. So most of these stories, first of all, are bullshit because behind there's a marketing agency and there's a publisher that actually is doing all the hype so that the game that is already a good game becomes amazing. It's really magic. And whatever the case, these stories are minimum, like minority stories. It's lottery. So it's you publish your game on Steam and you're successful because it's amazing. There's, I think in 2024, last year, there was like 19,000 games on Steam. 19,000. So even if you install them, all of them, and play 10 minutes, it's going to be your full year. I don't know. Not all of them are good, for sure. But let's assume that on the 19,000 games, there's 5,000 that were good. Well, not all of them are going to make more than $1 and that's going to bring you return. So no, it's tough. It's really tough. The competition is brutal and a lot of people are making amazing games.
Okay, so final advice to the people. What they should do if they think of going to a studio or create their risky own path? Should they risk to create their own path?
I mean, ultimately, I think it's important for people to be educated on the possibilities and to really know what it is. I think a lot of people are dreaming about what it is to make a video game, but they've never been making a game. They've not done a game jam. They've not been to school. They just love video games. But it's like everybody that likes movies doesn't become a movie maker, right? So I don't see why it will be the case that anybody that likes video games can make video games. It's a job. Some people are so talented that they can do that job and become millionaires at age 16. But that's, again, a very rare case. Understanding your capacities and your limitations is very important. So accepting that you might not be a genius, you might be just very smart. It might be useful. And then it depends on your finances and your capacities. I mean, if you start with a $50 budget and you need to make a game to make a living, it might be tough. Maybe you'd better work 10 years for Ubisoft and get to actually know how it works. If you have a very rich uncle and you're financed everything for your studies and your lifestyle and all, and you have the time, then okay, maybe it's easier.
Well, okay. Thank you very much for this talk. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you, my
and
friend.
I hope we see each other more.
Yes.